Prince of Persia is an action-adventure game. What that means to me is it's a game where you have combat, like a fighting game where you are fighting against an enemy and you're feeling that sort of sensation of accomplishment that comes from defeating an enemy in combat, matched with an equal balance of adventure, which is exploring a world, navigating through a world in order to find your path. And it's the perfect balance, if you will, between those two elements that define, in my opinion, a very good action-adventure game. The added value of Prince of Persia is that the character, the Prince of Persia, is this extremely agile warrior. So the way that he moves through the world, the way that he navigates through the world is much more exciting, if you will, than someone who's just running and occasionally jumping. The prince is an acrobat who flows through the world in a very choreographed, very dynamic way, and of course fights enemies along the way as well. So I think that's a pretty good definition of the action-adventure game in particular, the action-adventure genre in particular, with the Prince of Persia. Elika is what we call an Ahura. So the Ahura were the guardians of the Tree of Life that I was describing to you earlier. The Tree of Life is a magical tree that imprisons Ahriman, the ancient god of corruption and evil, and have imprisoned him on the human world throughout eternity, basically. The Ahura's job is to guard this tree and make sure that Ahriman never escapes and keep outsiders from coming into this magical little walled garden, if you will, in order to make sure that this tree is safe from anything that could possibly cause it to fall, and thus releasing Ahriman. So Elika, her entire life has been raised with one single-minded focus, which is keep the tree from falling, keep Ahriman imprisoned. The prince arrives, various events take place that cause that tree to fall down. So suddenly everything Elika has ever believed is thrown into chaos because her sole reason for being has suddenly been put into question. Now it's no longer keep the tree from falling, keep Ahriman from getting out. Now it's, okay, get Ahriman back into the tree and restore the balance that has been disrupted with the events that have transpired. So she has a single-minded focus initially, which is use the prince, get his help in order to get Ahriman back into that Tree of Life. And of course, as the game progresses, she learns a little bit about herself and a little bit about the prince and some of her priorities.